Well, the lights are dim inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Cleveland, but the party among Cavs fans still going on in downtown here on St. Patrick's Day after a 117-94 win for your Cleveland Cavaliers, bouncing back from that loss to the 76ers on Wednesday night. I'm Spencer German with your Cavs Insider Postgame Report. Excited to be here to talk about the game a little bit with you guys. And we'll start with the negative because the Cavs dominated in pretty much every facet of this game except for one area. And that was the three-point shooting. Just 4 of 19. Yes, a putrid 4 of 19 from beyond the arc. It didn't matter in this one, and I think that's a thing we can put a positive spin on and get to here in a second. But I do think that in a game like this tonight, where, yeah, you come out victorious so you feel good about it. It's better to learn from a loss or a win than from a win than a loss. But it has become so evident to me as the season has gone on that three-point shooting is this team's Achilles heel, and that it's going to be the thing that probably derails their however long of a playoff run that they make. If they run into a team like the Celtics, for example, that is just a superior three-point shooting team and can hit those shots from beyond the arc with guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I think they are in a world of trouble. It's going to be an issue, and it is going to cap, I think, how far they can go in the postseason. It didn't matter here tonight. Like I said, they dominated in pretty much every other area of the game, and that's the good news for Cleveland. 78 paints in the point they scored tonight, highlighted, of course, by Evan Mobley, who had 20 as well for Donovan Mitchell, 24 to lead the charge for Darius Garland, as he was cutting his way to the basket quite a bit tonight. 15 from Caris LeVert off the bench. We'll get to him in a second because that's another huge positive I want to get to. But, guys, the fact that, yeah, the three-point shots weren't falling, but this team found a way still to win this game and be effective offensively in other areas of the floor and find areas to get open and create opportunities for their teammates was one of the most impressive statistics from this game as a whole, or one of the most impressive takeaways from this game as a whole. Here's another good stat for you. 31 assists on 48 buckets made for Cleveland tonight. That is telling of how this game played out and of a team that was being unselfish, not trying to hoard the ball or play hero ball. They were spreading the wealth. They were giving it to the guy who had the best opportunity, and guys were just creating shots by driving and then kicking to somebody in a different area of the floor or dumping off to somebody on a different area of the floor that then could have an easy finish at the bucket. So that was impressive. That was a huge positive thing that I think we could take away from this game, that even in a game where they struggle to shoot it from three, they can grind it out with you. They can win in different ways, more ways than one. And that is something that hopefully means good things for the Cavaliers on a potential playoff run. It's interesting. 45 wins officially for the Cavs after this one tonight. And, well, hold on. Let me come back to that because I mentioned Caris LeVert. And LeVert is just on an absolute tear right now, a tear that has probably been, I'm willing to go out and say that it's the best stretch of basketball he's played since he was traded for last February at the trade deadline for that first-round pick, much to hopefully the pleasure of Cavs fans, because they've been waiting for this. I think there's been a lot of Cavs fans out there wondering, will the real Caris LeVert please stand up? We traded a first-round pick for you. What are you doing? Where are you? There's been moments where we thought he could be a trade chip, should be traded, shouldn't be on this team. He started the year kind of as the first look at that 3 spot. That didn't really work out for him, but he has settled into this role off the bench where he's one of the first men up off the bench night in and night out. And it has worked wonders for him of late as he's kind of established this role for himself. 15 points again tonight, like I said. I believe he was 6 of 9 from the floor, so another good shooting night for him. He entered the night 47% from the floor and from 3, which just lights out numbers. Guy is going scorched earth at the moment, and it's paying dividends for the Cavs. That leads into another big point I want to make here, because I don't know that this, I think anybody who's following this team, watching this team, cheering for this team is fans. You're all hoping this Caris LeVert sticks around. He has historically been a streaky shooter, so you hope that he can channel whatever this hot streak he's on right now and take it into the playoffs. Because if he's playing the way he was tonight, I mean, he is just seeing the floor so well. I mentioned guys kind of cutting into the bucket and dumping off and finding the open man. He had this beautiful play late in the game where he took he basically like took a cut to the bucket like he was going to make a layup, sort of dumped it off behind a defender to Evan Mobley, who slammed it home. And it was an impressive play, one of his 2 assists on the night, and just one of those things where he's making the right play at every stage of the game right now. And that is something that, again, has been missing from him and from the Cavs bench this season. If he can channel this into the postseason, I think it creates another bucket getter for you, another scorer for you that the Cavaliers hopefully can rely on and bank on come postseason time. And that could ultimately be something of a wild card almost, something you didn't account for, that almost helps them maybe go on a deeper run than we're expecting. They need him to stay hot. He is getting hot at the right time. That's the good news. You just hope he can continue this stretch into the month of April, and because it's been going on since really the very beginning of the month. You hope he can continue it through March and into April when it matters most in the postseason. On that note, LeVert has kind of been the key cog of the bench scoring of late, but the bench scoring has been better. And I think that can't be understated because it's been an issue all year. There's no beating around the bush with it. It's been bad. They're still bottom 3 in the NBA in terms of bench scoring. At one point, they were the worst bench scoring team in the league. So to see that finally turning around, I think is a positive sign. I promised I'd be positive, right? After the first mention there of the three-point shooting tonight, it's been mostly positive, and I'm sticking to it because the bench, not only tonight but in other games recently, have been able to contribute in ways that they weren't before. And again, that is an X factor for this team that maybe in the playoffs equals a longer run than anybody's anticipating if they can keep playing at this level. It's with Caris, it's with Ricky Rubio, it's with others, but those guys, Jetty Osman obviously has had some spurts at times. If they can keep that up, maybe we're in for a longer playoff run than we're expecting. It's good, I guess, on some. You wish it wouldn't have taken this long to figure it out, but on some level. And maybe part of it, too, is Ricky Rubio kind of getting his legs back underneath him, and he's figuring some things out as well, as he's obviously coming back from the injury. But you wish it didn't take this long, but the fact that it's happening now as you're gearing up for the playoffs with 9 games to go is, I guess, you can call it they're peaking at the right time, right? And that's what you want anytime you have a team going into the postseason. Last thing I'll say, 45 wins for the Cavaliers. It's the first time they've reached that benchmark for wins since LeBron left. And the only time this century, since the turn of the century, that they've done it without LeBron James. What's interesting is guys were asked about this afterwards. They downplayed it. Darius Garland kind of said it just means we were better than last year. Evan Mobley said, he also joked that you're going to find LeBron's name on a lot of records and a lot of the best marks in franchise history here. So that's no surprise. You can't really avoid it. Evan Mobley said, it just speaks to the growth that we've had. And JB Bickerstaff said, we recognize it, but we're not making a big deal out of it because we expect to be here and we want to get to 50 wins. I think that's a sign of how far this team has already come and where they are going and where they believe they are going as a young group that's going to just continue to get better and better. And hopefully, as they get that playoff experience, that does come to fruition. So, yeah, it's notable for us as consumers of this team, fans at home watching, that they've done this without LeBron James for the first time, and it certainly is a testament to even an article that I wrote back early in the season where I said, them beating the Lakers and LeBron was almost a passing of the torch, right? It was symbolic of we're moving on. We can now have a new era that we don't have to just keep referencing the good old days of LeBron James because this is going to be an era that we can remember as well with wins and playoff runs and all this different stuff. So I think it's a step in that direction that you sort of eclipse that 44 win mark. You get to 45 with the win tonight, but I think it's also great that the organization is saying the right things and sort of doing the right things in that they're moving forward and they have the confidence that they thought they were going to be here anyway. And it's not let's stop and celebrate this and champion this because we have bigger aspirations and bigger goals. I think that's what all the fans want to hear. It's what all the fans want for this team, and it seems like they're taking that approach. Again, final score tonight, Cavaliers 117, Washington Wizards 94. A nice win for the Cavaliers down the stretch here. We are under 10 games to go. That's right. 9 more games in the Cavaliers' regular season until we hit postseason play. We'll be there to cover it for you over at Cavs Insider and Cavs the Cavs Insider website through SI. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms and be sure to stay in the loop on all things Cleveland Cavaliers.